People know this is live, that we are in this piece. It's halftime of the Mavericks game. I ain't doing nothing better. I hadn't jumped on the YouTube or the Twitch in a while, so I wanted to hop on and say hello. I wanted to pop in and say hello to the peeps. All right. Yes, and here comes CD to try to get in the way. Look at that. Who's the puppy? Okay. Oh, we're in the middle of something. Hello. Hello. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, watch out. You're stepping on things now. You can't be stepping on things. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. What's up, everybody? What y'all doing? What y'all doing? What's popping? What's happening? This dog is insane. This dog is absolutely insane. Yes. Please just tell me the deal is almost signed from Sean. The laptop is plugged in, Lamont. I am famous when I do a live stream of having this thing just die because it is an old MacBook Air and it don't stay alive for long. It does not stay alive for long. Okay. Austin, he said, I think you got to explain your Dak stance. Christopher, does Dak's second surgery give you pause and give him a big contract? Okay. So here is the thing that everybody needs to understand with the Dak thing. Everybody who talks about or writes about the Dak thing is going to be talking about or writing about Dak Prescott based on what they hear from the people they talk to, right? So, for instance, if you read something that is incredibly positive, then there's a chance that that information comes from somebody who has an interest in being incredibly positive about what's going on with Dak, right? If somebody were incredibly negative, it would be because somebody told them something that's incredibly negative, whoever that may be. Zawisky on Twitch. How long until Bobby tweets about Dak? Yeah, Bobby Belt said he's not going to do it until there's a deal done. And there's zero chance that happens. I'll troll him until he tweets about Dak. Zach, I don't really understand what G-Bag means. G-Bag is good broadcasting about games. At least that's the way we're going to say it now. Because back in the day, it was just two guys whose name started with G, and they thought they were getting fired. And so they let the listeners name their show. And the winner was G-Bag, because it sounded like D-Bag. Back to Dak. I think Dak is going to get tagged, and he's going to play out the year. And then we'll see. That's what I think is going to happen, and here's why I think it. I think, and remember what I told you before, if somebody says they think something, a lot of times it's because they've heard something. And if I say something, it comes from somewhere. And generally, I'll be careful in my stance because I don't know for a fact things because I wasn't in the room. But here is what I will say about Dak. I believe that if an article is written about a surgery that happened months ago, what's happening there is the reason the article got written and Tom Pelissero and guys like that were told about a second surgery is because it was starting to leak out. And it was starting to leak out because we were starting to hint about it because we knew some things or had heard some things. And if you've heard some things, then what you do is you hint about things instead of coming out and saying things, right? You just lean a little bit. That's what happens. And so I believe the Dak article was written because they knew that it was already being talked about. So the cat was kind of out of the bag. So they had to write it. All I will say is that I am not totally optimistic and that Dak is everything's perfect and we're ahead of schedule and it was always planned. Because if it was always planned, it would have been reported when it was done. It wasn't always planned. So that's what I'll say about that. So I think there will be, Reggie, name your source. I will not. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be hard to get a contract done because they are going to want to see Dak first. They're going to want to see him play football. I think that's going to happen. The other side of that is update your title. I swear I did. I'm in Restream. If Twitch didn't update my title, then screw Twitch. I told it to update my title. That's dumb. So we'll see. That's my thing about Dak is we'll see. If somebody's incredibly optimistic, they're incredibly optimistic because whoever told them something is either incredibly optimistic or they want people to hear that they're incredibly optimistic. That's how the game works. So, yes, I think the second surgery was not as happy-go-lucky and as planned as is being portrayed. That's what I'm going to say. Okay? So we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll be 100% and he'll be a full go here in a few months and they'll be ready to rock and roll and he can show that and, hell, maybe he gets a contract. But for now, I'm going to guess that he is going to be franchise tagged and he's going to play under it. And what does that mean? That means that after that, he'll end up a free agent. And if he wants to leave, he'll leave. And if he wants to stay, he'll stay. That's what's going to happen with Dak. Okay? That's that. Yes, Frankie, I'm saying Dak will get tagged again. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for it to be I would love for it to be that everything that's happened in the Dak Prescott saga was totally planned and nothing to see here. It's all good. Everything's good. Love for that to be true and for him to get a contract, and then you have locked in a top 10 quarterback in the NFL and you rock and roll. No problem. That'd be great. Maybe that's how it goes. Maybe it's not. That is what I'll say to you peoples. My Super Bowl weekend was great. I made a brisket, and I made what else did I make? I made a brisket, and I made wangs, and had a good time. Had brought us and a couple people over. Andrew, shout out on the super chat. Watch any safety play. Who should Cowboys target and in what round? Oh, I got you on that. You better believe it, Andrew. I got you on that. I got you. I'll just pull up my board. Let me pull up my board. I'll tell you about the Cowboys draft targets. At safety, I think in a perfect world for the Cowboys, what you're looking for is a free safety. That's in a perfect world. But if you get me a guy who can at least play a half deep, when you're in a two deep and play at least a deep half, then I can work with that and I can try to survive and have Donovan Wilson sometimes playing a deep half too. But if I'm the Cowboys, what I'm looking for is pulling up my board. 2021 board. Bam. Now, if you guys don't know by now, I am full bore, full speed ahead on our Darius Washington, the TCU safety. He's my safety one. I don't care. He has the best instincts in the class. He's physical. He's the best cover guy. He can play nickel corner. He can play single high. He can play a deep half. He's a great player. The reason he didn't have ball production this year because teams refused to throw at our Darius Washington because that's how badass he is. All 5'8" of them. They threw at Trevon Merrick. They didn't throw at our Darius Washington. Really, they threw at their corners. But if they had to throw to safety, they were not throwing at our Darius Washington. So he's my guy. I grade him as a first-round player. I don't care. To me, he's a little bit smaller, but he plays like Honey Badger. He's going to be a baller, so I'm putting my stamp on it. I'm not going to lie to myself and be like, well, I'd take him in the third because I really like him, but he's short. No, go with what you see. You go with what you see. Good question about Divine Diablo Be Rich. I'll get to that in a second. I like him too. Okay, my safeties. Safety number 1, are Darius Washington. Safety number 2, and these would both be picked in the second round, right? If you're not talking about any trades, our Darius Washington is my safety 1. Richie Grant, Central Florida, is my safety 2. I know he blew up at the Senior Bowl, that jerk, because I already had him as a top 40 player in the class. Other people did not. Now they do, because he had a great Senior Bowl, the jerk. But his tape's great, too. He can play single high. He can get sideline to sideline. He's willing to come down and hit. Richie Grant, UCF. Then Trevon Merrick. He's safety 3 for me. And after those guys, it's for me a couple of strong safeties. Nasruddin at Florida State, Divine Diablo at Virginia Tech, who I think most people have Diablo as like, first of all, badass name. I think most people have him as like a 5th round or something like that guy. I don't. On tape, I think that's like a 2nd round guy. And now I will go to B Rich's question. Yeah, these big safeties that hit and are functional as cover guys, I would just play him as a linebacker in today's NFL. Because if you're an okay covering safety, you're a great covering linebacker. And if you're a great covering linebacker who can run and tackle and play the run, I think that's how you boogie, man. So you got to the 3rd round, I'll pick Divine Diablo, Virginia Tech. What is he, like 6'2"? I don't have his height in front of me. 6'2" or 6'3", and he's like 230 pounds. And I'm rocking that dude at linebacker. Be great. Lamont. Let me see here. What do you got, Lamont? Super chat. Jeff, question. How come Mike Nolan failed, but Tampa used the same defense and won a Super Bowl? They played the same 2-4-5 we did. It's the players. It's the players. And like Tampa winning the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl playing a completely different defense than what they played all year, right? Their defense all year was more of a single high and stop the run, and they blitz a lot, and they play aggressive. And I said this on the show today, but Todd Bowles in the Super Bowl, that was the lowest blitz rate he's had in a game in 5 years. That was the most he's played 2 deep safeties in a game in 5 years. So he was playing his opponent, not his defense. He was playing his opponent. And the difference is the players that you have. That's the difference. If you get a bunch of kick-ass players, then you'll have a kick-ass defense. The Cowboys don't have that right now. So that's where they're at. Pete, I've seen Marvin Wilson ranked at 149 by the Pro Football Network after the Senior Bowl. What happened? Did he play awful? I didn't hear his name once. No, don't worry about Marvin Wilson. What happened to Marvin Wilson is he was probably a little bit heavy this year. I believe his knee was banged up, but there's multiple years of kick-ass tape. The only thing that I wonder about when a guy has a down year after years of kicking ass is I wonder about the football character, and I'm not making an accusation about Marvin Wilson. I'm just saying if I were a scout, that's what I'd be digging into. Like, man, what happened? Because he's super talented. He was kicking ass, and then he kicked less ass when you would think he would just keep getting better and better. Was it injuries? Was it work ethic? Was it weight? Like, what are we looking at? To me, Marvin Wilson is still he's definitely a top 100 player in this class. And I'd be willing to pick him definitely in the 3rd and maybe in the 2nd. That's just me. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Tampa this century. Hamza, shout out, dude. I appreciate you. 2 Super Bowls, boy 0. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. It would be really cool if the Cowboys would win Super Bowls. Yeah. Medical is very important on everybody, Richard. On Wilson, everybody in the draft. Medical is really important on Dak right now. I mean, people cannot want to pretend it, but that was a major injury. And the idea that the 2 surgeries were planned, okay. Believe that if you want to. Yeah. All right. Health. That I don't know. I would assume that he's fine because the surgery that he had should be healed and he should be ready to play. But, man, when you start messing with backs and necks and stuff, that's stuff you got to worry about. Convince me Washington over Grant. I mean, I would, if I were in a room and people were talking about picking a safety, you don't even want to hear the things I would say about our Darius Washington. I would say Washington over Grant because I think he gives you even better versatility because he can line up and play nickel corner too. I think he has better quickness. I think he has better instincts. I think he's always going to be moving in the right direction faster. I think our Darius is a beast. And I think Richie Grant's really good. I think he has good instincts. I think he has good range. I think he can play single high. I just think our Darius Washington, all of those things are just all right. That's all right, Ninja Nuts. I ain't mad at you. I'm not trying to force you to put your guys in the order I have them in. It's just the order I have them in. I support everybody's right to watch the players and put them wherever you like them. Would I take Washington at number 10 overall? No, but when he goes on to be as good as I'm saying he's going to be, I'd feel stupid. That's one of those things. It's just how big are your nuts. And mine are big, but when the whole world is like, oh, yeah, pick him in the 4th. And I'm like, yeah, take him at 10. That's cool. I can be stupid. I don't care. He's going to get manhandled. Ain't nobody manhandling our Darius Washington. Nobody. Hams, are you worried about Dak's second surgery? Worried isn't the word. I'm just an observer. I am not going to err on the side of super positivity and pretending that everything's perfect, but I'm also not going to sound the alarm. That's all. That's all. He does not have better vision or a higher IQ. But, again, I support you doing whatever you see. If that's the way you see it, that's the way you see it. How well do you think Jerry is going to draft? Shout out to Texas T-Twister. I mean, they drafted well last year. I hope they do the same thing where the coaches, Asante Samuel Jr. over Elijah Molden. Yes, but I love them both. I got them both as like top of the second round players. They drafted well last year, and I think they can do it again because last year I hope that they learned the lesson of let your scout and let them pick. They had a new coaching staff who didn't get in the way. You didn't have a bunch of Rod Marinelli stuff happening. So they need to do that again. All right, quickly, I got to get back to this Mavs game. Have I found any new prospects I like a lot lately? Not yet. I need to get back on it, though. James, shout out to the shout out. Can boys get a lower first, second, and third for pick 20? Cowboys have pick 10. Lower first, second, and third. Oh, if you went back to like 20, you'd probably get a 1 and a 2. But if somebody was coming up for a quarterback, you could get more. That's kind of the way it goes. Linebacker 1, with 10. Yeah, so like from 10, even if you went back to like 15, that would be a 1 and a 2. So 20, I bet that adds up to a 1, 2, 3, give or take. My favorite linebacker is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Notre Dame. Will make you change your mind and think Dak will get a contract. Hearing and seeing that Dak is 100%, that he's totally healed up and there are absolutely no worries about his ankle. That is what it's going to take. Because I don't buy all the optimism that's going around right now. James, I meant pick 10. Yeah. So from pick 10, yeah, you can get a 1, 2, and 3 from a team. Yes, Pete, or B Rich. I want all the hybrids. I want my strong safety and my 2 linebackers to all be similar. I want to have a 1 technique in the middle that's a monster, and now we're just flying. We're flying. Colts going to trade for Wentz. Colts or Chicago. One of those two, I think, is going to trade for Wentz. Maybe this week. So that'll be good. All right, guys, I got to go. Mavericks are on. Home of the Cowboys. 2-7, and the Rangers, and home of the best Maverick talk as well. 2-7, 105.3 The Fan. Don't miss it. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on either Twitch or YouTube. Whichever one you use is cool. All right, hit the like button. When this thing's over, put in the comments what you want to hear about tomorrow, and I'll see if I can do a video. I haven't been as active just because I felt it's been a lot. I've needed time to kind of chill out a little bit. Relax, breathe. Been going too hard. All right. Need moderators. I'll just block people. All right. Peace out, fellas. I love you. I'll catch you tomorrow, either on the radio or on a video. Sincerely, I love you guys. Remember, you don't know what anybody's